This weekend, guys, things ramped up a little bit. So on Friday, we got Trump blasting out all these terms that the Iranians had agreed to, turning over nuclear, opening up the strait. And listen, Trump didn't make that one up. The Iranians came out and said, we're opening up the strait. All right. So listen, that's what sent the stock market going over 1,000 points. It sent oil down below $80 for a bit. Everybody was like, the war's over. Trump's out like they're agreeing to this. They're agreeing to this. Everything looked good in the world. And then Saturday came. And on Saturday, the IRGC came out and said, we are not agreeing to terms. And they shot at two boats, both having Indian flags on them. So what happened? Well, Trump came back today, said an Iranian-flagged cargo ship named Tuska, nearly 900 feet long, weighing almost as much as an aircraft carrier, tried to get past our naval blockade. It did not go well for them. U.S. Navy guided missile destroyer USS Spruance intercepted the Tuska in the Gulf of Oman and gave them fair warning to stop. Iranian crew refused to listen, so our Navy ship stopped them right in their tracks by blowing a hole in the engine room. Right now, U.S. Marines have custody of the vessel. Tuska is under U.S. Treasury sanctions because of their prior history of illegal activity. We have full custody of the ship and are seeing what's on board. Very, very interesting. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of questions. Okay, a lot of questions, and some of those questions are going to be, how did Trump get this wrong? What's going on here? Did he lie to us? Well, a couple things can be right at the same time. What is clear to me at this point, and after analyzing it a lot through some of the smartest people I know, doing my own research as well, it appears to me that what's going on right now is a civil war within Iran. Trump is talking, whoever they're talking to is trying to get this done, trying to end it. But the IRGC, which is the branch of the government, that's the Iranian something guard, they're the wing of City of London. The Khomeinis were owned by City of London as well, but the IRGC, Muslim Brotherhood connections, just you do the math, you can connect them to City of London, and it would make absolute sense that they are the ones putting their foot down when others are trying to save their country by making a deal. That's what it looks like to me. There's competing factions here, and they are fighting over control of Iran. Now, we've always known that there were two factions in Iran, not counting the people. I'm just talking about the two factions that have been in control for a long time, and they've been in control at the same time as each other. The Khomeinis, the religious political leaders, and the IRGC, mostly the military leaders. All right, and then you have the people. Those two factions, and maybe a third, are fighting right now over control, while the people might be working on rising up. And that's what we're seeing right now. We are seeing them fight it out in real time. And once you put that together, it makes absolute sense what we're seeing. And Trump, in Art of the Deal, he's doing it. I don't know how many of you have read the book Art of the Deal. It's a brilliant book from the 1980s. Still reads really well and easy today. Well, one of the things Trump likes to do is announce the deal details and what he's aspiring towards as the wins ahead of time, putting pressure on the other side. This is something he's done forever. And it works almost all the time. In fact, most of the time what it does, Trump always knows he's got his big ask and then he's got his acceptable ask, or like his acceptable terms. You go big and then you bring it up. And that's what we're watching Trump do right now in real time. And what's interesting is the markets are clearly betting on Trump because they know he almost always gets this done. Almost always gets this done. So can't wait to see how this plays out because it's pretty clear. This right here. So these ships, the Chinese ships, 6 more ships came from China coming towards Iran. They were turned away. They turned around, went away. Iran is being sieged. Okay. They can't get any money right now. They're not getting oil out. They are within just a few days of having to shut off their oil wells and then maybe being set back several years in their oil production, absolutely crippling their economy. So the time bomb is ticking. This isn't going to last much longer. One way or the other, this is going to end. And what's interesting is whether the IRGC is going to force them to go all out suicidal, which is by fighting back against this. Because this whole time this has been happening, the ceasefire, we've actually been positioning more ships in the area too. We're weaponized. We've stocked back up. We've been targeting their leaders back and forth. We've had time to target everything. If we unleash again, it's going to be even worse than the first 3 days for them. They can't win this. And so it's either they go on a suicide mission, which is normal for these types of people. I mean, think about Islam, suicide, 77 virgins. If they're all full believers, plus their handlers, City of London, might not let them cave. We had that joke of a thing this weekend where once the Strait of Hormuz was declared open by Iran on Friday, the Starmer and Macron and a bunch of the cronies in the EU got together and were like, no, now we're going to send our own barricade to the Strait of Hormuz to ensure it stays open. And Trump was like, stay home. We got this. We don't need you anymore. And it's absolute joke. They have no Navy what to speak of whatsoever. The UK doesn't even have a working aircraft carrier right now. Absolute joke. And if anybody can't see the difference between Trump now and like after Iran, it is so obvious Trump is not part of the deep state. If anybody still thinks Trump's part of the deep state after this war, you're honestly retarded. You just have no idea what you're talking about because you don't follow any of this. You're just too busy listening to Candace Owens, who just had her own career destroyed this weekend by Laura Loomer. That's where we're at. This has made it more obvious than ever. If Trump was part of the deep state, the EU, UK, they'd be sucking up to him all over again. The Democrats would be thrilled about this. But this is the first war in forever, going back before World War II, where in the beginning of the war, America wasn't united and the UK, NATO weren't on board with us. That's all you need to know right there. It's that simple. Sometimes things really are that simple. Watch and see who your friends are. It's crazy. Even in Iraq and Afghanistan, the Democrats were on the side of it at first. The Democrats were. We saw 70%, 80% approval for it. Split. The deep state hates this war. They know what it's doing to them. They know that it's giving America more power than ever before. We now control all the major straits in the world. We're finishing up Hormuz, but that will be done. It's crazy. Making the deals over in Indonesia. I mean, come on. This stuff it's so obvious at this point. So if you don't see it, I mean, come on. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. You can make all your other stuff about Trump. You can have all your other disagreements. But if you still think Trump's deep state and one of them, you don't have a working brain when it comes to politics. I'm sorry to be mean, but it's true. It's absolutely true. And so, all right, so here's a little more on what happened with this Tusko. This is actually a pretty crazy story here. Mario Nafal caught in the act. Iranian cargo ship Tusko tried sneaking past blockade toward Bandar Abbas, ignored 6 hours of warning. Don't say we didn't give you time. USS Spruance said, nah, fired 5-inch rounds straight into the engine room, killed the engines, and Marines from the 31st boarded it. Ship's now in U.S. custody. Blockade means blockades. 25 ships warned before this one learned the hard way. It's testing it next. We're doing exactly what we said we did. We're enforcing it. They're testing it. They thought that maybe we were bluffing. But somebody said this weekend, which was so good, I think it was Victor Davis Hanson. He said sometimes Trump will lie in the midst of his deal or midst of what he needs to get done, but he never bluffs. And that, my friends, is absolutely true. We've learned that for the last 10 years with Trump in power in politics. Sometimes he lies on the way to the deal, which I would say is misdirection most of the time, but he never bluffs. So you FAFO, and that's what happened with this ship today. I mean, you could see some of the footage here.
Motor vessel Toska. Motor vessel Toska. Vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room.
I mean, it's on video, so smart. Now everything's on video. So here's a great little clip talking about what's going on this weekend.
East of the Strait of Hormuz. He says that vessel is now in Marine custody with a hole blown in its engine room. Meanwhile, Tehran reportedly is refusing to negotiate with the U.S. in Pakistan. Senior Foreign Affairs correspondent Greg Palcott is live from Tel Aviv with the latest. Greg.
John, there are new questions about those planned upcoming talks between the United States and Iran as the U.S. and Iran face off in the Gulf. The U.S. Navy is enforcing a blockade around the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump just recently has said a naval ship intercepted an Iranian vessel that tried to get past the quarantine, refused to stop, forcing the U.S. to target this ship. And for the first time during this operation, U.S. service members went on board. He said in a post, in part, our Navy ship stopped them right in their tracks by blowing a hole in the engine room. Right now, U.S. Marines have custody of the vessel. That's very crucial. U.S. service members on an Iranian ship. All this comes as talks are planned for Islamabad starting Tuesday between the U.S. and Iran, just ahead of the current ceasefire running out midweek. Now we're hearing from Iran as well, referencing the U.S. naval blockade and the rhetoric coming from the White House, indicating they might not even take part in the talks, or at least they still haven't decided. One state news agency blaming, I'm quoting here, Washington's excessive demands, unrealistic expectations, constant shifts in stance, repeated contradictions, and the ongoing naval blockade, which it considers a breach of the ceasefire. John, we are waiting on a final move from both sides to see if this is just a last-minute posturing and some skirmishing or a real breakdown in the diplomatic path. We will see in the coming hours and days. Back to you.
The constant shifts in stance, that's unusual. The White House, it seems, at least from the talking points that have been released on the U.S. side of things, they've been pretty consistent about what they want from Iran.
Very consistent, yes. I mean, key points, and I think we still have to keep going back to the central issue that's at the heart of this, and that's the suspect nuclear program of Iran. The U.S. is demanding that the highly enriched uranium that Iran has be shipped out of the country. The enrichment process ends, and any thought of Iran.
So going back to the nuclear, which we're going to talk about more here in a second, Trump announced that they had agreed to turn it over on Friday. So it makes me think that they are, again, it's the warring factions. One of them wants to get rid of it, wants to move on, wants to get Iran on track. Very similar to what happened in Venezuela. But Venezuela didn't have a whole other army that's separate. So this is very interesting. Vance, Witkoff, and Kushner are supposed to be, I can't remember. Vance was going to go, then he wasn't going to go. They didn't want to send him because of security reasons. There's some mixed reporting on whether or not he went. But they're over there right now in Islamabad, and they don't even know if the Iranians are going to show up. But Trump has said this morning that if there's no deal anymore, it's going to be on again. The ceasefire ends on Tuesday. We're not that far away. We're also very close to, again, their oil being dried up, because the way Iran is, they have only 2 weeks of reserves. Once those are topped up, they have to shut the pumps off. They shut the pumps off, they lose all the pressurization in those in those wells. And once they lose that pressurization, depending on how much it goes down, it could take them. Some people are saying some of those wells might take 10 years to come back. So that's going to be absolutely crazy to see how that plays out. Now, here's a couple. Here's some good breakdowns I saw this weekend. Now, I'll get to Tom Luongo in a second, but this is an observance here, and I thought there's some interesting things in here, although I don't agree with everything here. But still, I think it's important to go through. So. This guy believes there will be no deal. Ceasefire will end and war will recommence. Second observation, U.S. has been flooding the theater with reinforcements, resupplies, performing maintenance on air assets, nonstop rearming warships. Force is ready and larger than it's ever been. Trump is not messing around. He didn't just announce that ceasefire and like be like, cool, we'll move away now. No, he's doubling down. Every key player left in the regime surfaced from the hide holes and safe houses during the ceasefire. The negotiation team sent to stall America, IRGC thugs who showed up in Islamabad to stop the regime delegation from making deals, mid-level staffers going between IRGC leadership, are shooting at ships. All of them broke cover and came back up on the grid. From that point on, they are visible to human intelligence networks watching them. Persistent ISR assets watching 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without pause. Spy satellites, stealth, non-stealth drones, manned reconnaissance. From the moment the ceasefire started, everyone as a key player in Iran's continued resistance came back on the grid and have been surveilled ever since. It says when the ceasefire ends, strikes will begin with such rapid speed, it'll be more savage than the first round. Next, Iran got drones, SAM missile systems, radars from China during the ceasefire still ongoing. This is what's driving the remnants of the IRGC to continue the war. Very interesting. It would make sense if they think that they're stocked up, or at least a little bit. It gives them a little hope. But this is where I completely agree with them. They do not fully comprehend what's set to take place or how completely unable to counter it or survive they are. Because they're getting Timu missiles, baby. Get those Timu air defense. Get the Timu missiles. They can't even break our defenses. China stuff sucks. We've learned that in Venezuela. We've learned that in Iran. China's weapons suck. Their air defense sucks. They just do not have anything close to the tech we have. And we're going to get a lot more to China in a little bit, just about how much we've been lied to about how strong they are. That's partly due to history, partly due to institutional arrogance of IRGC, partly and most importantly because China and Russia simply do not understand our full capabilities. Exactly. And then last one's the key, disconnect. How clear and complete our granular picture all the way up to the grand strategic picture is compared to how blind and fragmented the situational awareness of the Iranians is. Last part really, really scares Russia and China. I've been saying this for weeks. If you guys have been watching my show, you have heard this for weeks now. How this took out our lifetimes, right? 3 big bads. At least my lifetime. I'm 42. 3 big bads. China 1, Russia 2, Iran 3. We just demolished Iran, and we demolished with them using Russian Chinese technology. Same with Venezuela. We have just so far established how far ahead we are of these other nations. It's shocking even to them, and I love it. The vast gap in cognitive abilities, capabilities, situational awareness capabilities between the U.S. and them scares them because it's a gap they can't bridge. Beyond that, the speed we can act is something they can't match. Trump showed the world we are the USA and we kick your ass. Nobody can fight with us. We're Muhammad Ali in his prime. That's who we are. They cannot beat us. And in fact, nobody can even take us 7 rounds in a 15-round match. They can't even get us 7 rounds. We're like Clubber Lang in the first fight against Rocky in Rocky 3, where Rocky shows up thinking he's all bad and Clubber Lang beats him in 2 rounds. That's who we are. Although we like to be Rocky. But the problem is Rocky lost. We don't lose. Not when we're at full strength. The war is going to restart after ceasefire ends. All hell is going to break loose. Now, I agree with almost everything he said here. Some of it is to be seen. Tom Luongo adds this excellent analysis. Now consider both Russia and China know the IRGC is dead and have propped them up to make them think they have a chance before they're wiped out, because that puts to bed the threat forever and guts the possibility of any restarting of hostilities, thus neutering European London interests created this intolerable situation in the first place. Neutering European British aggression and strategic Chinese and Russian goal. And he's right. He's absolutely right. We have China and Russia, not necessarily, they're not our friends, okay? And nobody's saying that. However, we all have a similar enemy that we all hate. And it's the EU, globalists, City of London, cabal, WEF, Davos. We hate them, all of us. They have been infecting all of us. Russia especially has been brutalized because of them. Since the Soviet Union fell, they've been taking advantage of them, forcing Russia not to be able to bounce back. It's and not in the Soviet Union way, and actually just as a regular country being on the world stage way. And this goes back centuries between UK and Russia. For us, we were ahead of all of them, and they've been robbing us blind and using our own politicians to keep taking advantage of that, selling us out. China's just been put in this box, and China's been, China's awful. Don't get me wrong. They steal, they cheat, they lie, they do everything to their own advantage. But ultimately, China, I really believe, everybody believes China's after world domination. I honestly have never seen any evidence of that. And I used to believe it. Steve Bannon sure believes it. But I got to say that if China was bent on world domination, it's funny they've never Nepal, I guess. But they haven't really been expanding their empire. It's not like the Soviet Union, okay? It's not like when Russia was taking over all these countries around them and encroaching into Europe. China hasn't challenged Japan. They haven't challenged Korea. We haven't seen that in recent decades. China, I believe, just wants to be a massive brute force on their own economically, and they want to be seen as the number one power. But they can never fight us. They've known that, despite the fact we didn't know it. We were lied to by our own intelligence agencies, by our own education system, about how much further behind us China really was. And if China can get the globalists out of the way and just be left alone, and they can still do their business, and we'll always have to monitor them because they do cheat, steal. They'll do whatever it takes to make themselves profit. Absolutely. They're not good people. But they're not as bad as the globalists, I'll say that, or as the EU types. And that's what we're learning in all this. We're learning in all this that China's just not who we thought it was, that especially on a strength level. Russia's definitely not who we thought they were, but we've been figuring out Russia now for a much longer point. So, all right, let's keep moving. So 60 Minutes is even now admitting that Iran had enough highly enriched uranium to make 10 nuclear bombs. How crazy is that? Even 60 Minutes is now at that point. This was supposed to be, Trump lied. Israel lied. No, they lied to us. And now even 60 Minutes has to admit it because of, let's just watch
the
a little
war
clip.
with Iran hinges on 3 letters, HEU, and it's believed Iran has enough of it underground to eventually make 10 nuclear bombs. What would it take for the U.S. to secure that highly enriched uranium? You'll hear about a covert mission that took place 32 years ago and why a similar operation in Iran would be so difficult.
Would an operation like this be worth risking American lives?
In my opinion, yes.
The war with Iran hinges on 3 letters, HEU, and it's
repeating. Anyways, it's starting to get out there. I mean, when 60 Minutes have to admit it, 60 Minutes is a total, CBS owns 60 Minutes now, and they're trying to do a little bit better under what's-her-face. They're trying to do some real reporting. That's probably the only reason we even see this, that they could have had 10 nuclear bombs. Again, it goes back to last summer, a year ago, when Trump bombed them. Trump took out Fordow. He set them back. I have a feeling that because of the nature of the strike, they were probably pretty imminently going to be on that nuclear stage where it was dangerous. And then they'd announce, hey, we had nukes. And once they do that, you can't fight them anymore. You can't attack them. Just like with North Korea. You can't go after them once they have the nukes. It's deterrence. And then it gets a lot messier because these people are crazy. So Trump set them back, finished it, told Israel to chill, which is, again, just the proof of Trump being controlled by Israel is so non-existent now. It's just become more non-existent by the day, especially with the Lebanon-Israel ceasefire. But set it back, and then I believe was preparing for this all along. That's what makes sense to me. Because look at the timeline building up to it. They stopped, okay, or they were set back. We entered into negotiations again with them a few months ago. And in the meantime, what does Trump do? He strategically goes into Venezuela, screws all that up, gets oil from them, sets them free from Maduro, gets Maduro over here. So there's a lot of things that can go on with that. CIA, the election stuff going on. I mean, the machines in Venezuela. There's a whole lot going on there that'll be coming out weeks, months, who knows when. But regardless, we're getting Venezuela oil out in the market now. That helped protect us from this. And then immediately after Venezuela, he goes, sets up in Iran. So this was clearly part of the plan for a long time. This is well planned the whole time. This wasn't just like a lot of people are like, Trump's gut just decided to just go to war with Iran. Yeah, there's literally no facts that back that up at all. But people have TDS, man. People are Trump retarded. And because they're retarded about Trump, they can't see clearly. They have to only feed their own narrative all the time. That's all they see. They're not willing to actually go looking for the truth. I deal with this all the time. I deal with this with people who like all they care about is the markets. So they hate Trump because he hasn't fixed the markets to their liking yet. And I get it. That sucks. It really does. But when you realize how vast this is and how deeply embedded all this is and how much in bed we were with the globalists, and when you go back to like trace it all back to City of London, the financial center of the world, I mean, you figure it all out pretty quickly. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The Khomeinis having $60 billion real estate empire in UK. I mean, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And many people don't want to look at that because they're just not getting what they want. And they still are so myopic and they're just like, oh, Jamie Dimon controls the world, bro. No, he doesn't. That's so stupid. It's like, yeah, he has a lot of power. Chase Manhattan, Chase Morgan has a ton of power. Absolutely. And our banks were in bed with previous administrations, especially the Obama administration, who basically gave them free reign over our entire financial system. The regulations they put in place with Dodd-Frank gave them all the power to completely manipulate our banks. Then they started quantitative easing, create a fake economy. I mean, 2008, go look at that. Timothy Geithner. And Trump's been slowly unwinding all that, breaking it up. And at the same time, trying to keep our economy up so Main Street doesn't go broke in the midst of it, because these guys control all of our pensions. They control the 401ks. They control it all. So if he makes a wrong move, or if he doesn't do this right and do it the slow way, everybody loses their wealth, not just the bad guys. And so that's all because of thanks to well, it goes back to Clinton. Started with Clinton, then Bush a little bit, then Obama really doubled down on that, and then of course Biden. I mean, Trump's been the only one trying to break this up, and meanwhile he's fighting everybody at the same time. The banks, City of London, his people in his own administration, especially in the first term, the DOJ, the deep state, the bureaucracies, the judges, his own Senate. It's been everybody. But Iran made it clear more than anything else that this is breaking all of that. This is the thing that's finally starting to happen. This is the thing that's finally starting to make it work. Trump today, he announces, well, let's put up the full post. We're about to jump in big time. Iran decided to fire bullets yesterday in Strait of Hormuz. Total violation of our ceasefire. Many of them were aimed at a French ship freighter from the UK. That wasn't nice, was it? My reps are going to Islamabad. They will be there tomorrow evening for negotiations. They announced they were closing the strait, which is strange because our blockade already closed it. Fact check true. They're helping us without knowing. They're the ones that lost with the closed damage, $500 million a day. U.S. loses nothing. In fact, many ships are headed right now to the U.S., Texas, Louisiana, Alaska to load up. Again, one of the most genius plays in the history of our country is how Trump just made us the number one place in the world for energy. And everybody now relies on us, which means nobody has leverage on us anymore at all financially. They just don't. All the debt, all the countries that hold our debt, they need us now for energy. So yeah, they can say, "Oh, we're not going to buy your bonds anymore. We're going to hold your debt over here." And we say, "Cool, you guys will kill your economy. You're dead. No exports to you. No natural gas. No oil. You're dead. Good luck." because it's going to take you 10 years to rebuild what you let the climate crap destroy for you because you're retarded and we're not. Like, this is the single greatest miracle, like, for our economy and our future that any president's done in decades, if not over a century. What Trump's done with our energy here, because it just makes us the power broker of the world from now on. It's unbelievably genius. And honestly, there, like, you'd have to be absolutely retarded to not see it, to hate that. You got to just hate America and not understand geopolitics at all to not think this is like one of the best things that's ever happened to our country. It just is. And it's not just now, it's for the future. It's going to get better and better and better. You know what happens when you're the most prosperous energy exporting nation in the world? That prosperity will find its way down to the people. It's just a matter of time. But the infrastructure has to be put in place. It takes time because we've been being bled out for decades. And it goes back before free trade of Clinton. It goes back before that. We started before that. Clinton just accelerated it. We've been killing our manufacturing, killing our infrastructure, killing our middle class. And Trump's the only one turn that around. So, I mean, again, I don't care what people can complain about him all they want. Oh, Trump made money off money, or who's made way more money than him. Look at every other president who doubled, tripled, 10 times their worth by getting into the presidency and did so illegally. If Trump makes some money off this, none of it, he's done it all legally. And he's done it. He lost half his worth in the first presidency. He went down from $4 billion to $2 billion in his first presidency. So listen, after the much this guy's been through, I don't care if he leaves the presidency and he's worth $100 billion. I don't care because I can see everything else that's been going on. Let it happen. Who cares? As long as it's done by deals that help America, and that's all I'm seeing. You know, it'd be kind of stupid not to have stuff going on that makes money, right? It's not like he's one of these congressmen. Okay, it's not like Trump's doing fake book deals, you know. And I believe everybody here doesn't care. I really do. He says, let's see. To load up, compliments of the IRGC, always going to be the tough guy. We're offering a very fair and reasonable deal. I hope they take it because if they don't, the United States is going to knock out every single power plant, every single bridge in Iran. No more Mr. Nice Guy. They'll come down fast. They'll come down easy. If they don't take the deal, it'll be my honor to us to be done. What should have been done by Iran, other presidents the last 4 years. So, guys, it's about to ramp up. It's about to ramp up.